morning, Tiger family. I want to take a moment this morning to talk to you about safety here at FCHS. Earlier this week, FCHS was placed on a code orange lockdown after students and staff received an airdrop message that said a shooting was going to happen at school that day. Once alerted to the message, FCHS instituted the lockdown and began investigating along with members of the Fayetteville Police Department. There was no shooting and no weapons were found on campus. Authorities determined rather quickly that it was not a credible threat, but the lockdown was continued to finish the investigation. I want to emphasize a few things with you this morning. First, remember that sending or distributing a threatening message is both a violation of law and of the Student Code of Conduct. Anyone involved will be subject to criminal charges and school discipline. Secondly, the school was placed on a code orange lockdown. Our lockdown system has 3 levels: yellow, orange, and red. The severity and immediacy of the perceived threat determines which level we go into in case of an emergency. Code yellow is the least severe and is generally used if there is an external threat outside the school and the community. Normal operations continue, but none of our classes can go outside, and we ensure that all the exterior doors are closed and locked. Code red is the most severe and is what we often practice, where you go to the quiet area and then you move to the safety corner until the all clear is given. Code orange, which is what we instituted Tuesday, is the middle lockdown level. In a code orange lockdown, we keep all outside and inside doors locked. Teachers check into the office through our RSVP system to help account for all students and staff. Classroom instruction, though, continues as normal. The only difference is that students and staff should not be allowed to leave the classroom. That means no restroom trips, no visits to the library, no one can go to the nurse. Everyone remains in their assigned classroom to help us ensure that everyone is accounted for and safe. On Tuesday, the front office contacted teachers via email, students and parents via IC Messenger, and everyone on campus through the intercom system to help ensure people knew what was going on. That is standard practice in a code orange lockdown. We're going to communicate with you as much as possible. Now, for many of us, hearing the word lockdown is scary. Know that it's scary for staff and us as administrators as well as for students. However, we take all threats seriously, and we instituted the lockdown to ensure beyond a shadow of doubt that each of you were safe here. As I close, I want to thank you for your cooperation during the event earlier this week. All of us have to work together to help keep our schools safe. Please continue to tell a trusted adult if there's any information that could threaten the safety of our school or campus. If you see something, if you hear something, if you know something that could impact us, please say something to an adult as soon as possible. Thank you for all you guys do again to keep FCHS safe, and go Tigers.
Good morning, Tigers. Today is Friday, October 7th. I'm Sarah Woods.
And I'm Jada Eberhardt.
And this is your Morning Roar.
Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now observe a moment of silence.
Now to Jordan Burnside on how gaming disorders affect students in classes.
Gaming disorder is a gaming addiction that causes someone the inability to stop playing even though it interferes with other areas in one's life.
Well, I believe gaming disorder is an addiction that hinders the person that's playing games it's very hard for them to put the game down. And it's like, it takes over some of their life and it affects them mentally, physically, and socially.
Gaming disorder is a disorder many teens of today suffer from. Students are getting distracted in classes and missing important details in class because of this disorder.
Someone who plays video games becomes addicted to it and has to be using it all the time and have to be playing all the time. And that can create problems in school, out of school, in a lot of different areas.
There are some positives though. Gaming helps increase hand-eye coordination as well as overall focus. Did you know the average teen spends about 8 to 12 hours a day playing their games?
Well, it definitely makes it difficult for me to retain information, and I end up missing homework because I don't listen to it. So I'm always so immersed into my game that it's difficult to pick up information.
Typically, a student who plays games too often suffers from socially because they spend so much time on their games and they miss out on having any real friends and relationships.
It's an issue. Yeah, there's probably a couple of kids in each class that not just love gaming, but play it maybe a bit too much, and so that would be something for an individual teacher to recognize and talk with that student, or also find a way to maybe incorporate gaming into the curriculum.
The students of today use gaming to escape their reality and relieve some stress of modern day society. But they need to realize that too much is not good for them. This has been a news story on gaming disorder. Back to the anchors.
Thank you, Jordan.
Now here's the football news story with our FCHS student Solomon Brown.
For this upcoming season is to be the best at my position and to play for my team and be unselfish and to go to the national championship and win it. We got to bring us a championship home.
Several different goals, just improve each and every day, each and every week. We have a starting point from, point zero. My job is trying to get us a 10 every day. Right now, we're probably about every 3.5. So just to see improvements in every aspect of coaching with our team, in the building, on the field, and off the field as well.
Thank you, Solomon.
Now to Noah Warney on the effects of COVID on education.
March 16th, 2020 would be the last normal day of school. From classrooms to homes, paper to online, everything has changed. Today, we interviewed students and staff on their take on the effects of COVID. We asked if it was difficult to transition from school life to home.
Really just a complete reimagining of what lessons were going to look like, how I was going to keep students both at home, on hybrid, and students here engaged at the same time.
I think if you know me, I kind of thrive off of interaction, so having none of that kind of drove me insane a little bit. But outside of that, you just have to figure out ways to link up with the kids virtually, talk to them, and have a little camaraderie. So I had a lot of Zoom meetings with kids, even though they weren't required. So that was helpful during COVID.
Whether COVID has had a big impact on you or not, it definitely put a toll on the education system. An article published by bookings.edu displays the decrease in students' grades and/or motivation since the pandemic. Many students can agree that life during the lockdown was unfulfilling, with little to no contact with other people, plus having to take on the responsibility of teaching yourself everything.
I would say it was relatively difficult, just because it was a change going from such a structured environment to a destructured environment.
Now, questioning whether the school board should be more lenient or at least provide some ways to help students improve and make up their time, after asking around, we can see the impact COVID has had on all types of people. It's something we all had to endure and get used to. This is Noah Warney signing out.
Thank you, Noah.
Now to Bria Rees for a brief look into the wonders of music.
No one should ever think that dance and music and theater are a luxury, because for so many of our students, they are truly necessities. They're the reason these kids show up to school. That was a quote from former First Lady Michelle Obama, who highlighted the importance of music. Music isn't just about melody, harmony, rhythm, and form. It makes us feel something inside of us.
One song that brightens a student's day because they enjoy the song so much or they haven't had an opportunity to sing it, it's always good to do something that they enjoy and that they find familiar. And I think that's what gives that excitement or that has kind of impacted, I guess, that person's life in that day.
Music has been my safe haven, like, kind of all throughout my life. I grew up in the Caribbean, and music was a big part of our culture. I still recognize a lot of the music from there today, and I still, still makes me feel the same way.
Music has always been the easiest thing for me. It was the first, like, as a 10-year-old, it was like the first time I realized, hey, I'm really good at this.
As a matter of fact, it turns out there's a lot more to music than what we may give it credit for.
The musicians who are growing up being an adult are more successful. They understand concept of language, memorization, concentration. There is a study, medical study, actually neuroscience study from USC, and they find out that there are certain parts of brain that really activates coordination.
One area that deals with extreme coordination is marching band. It takes a lot of work to synchronize your feet with your marching peers, as well as playing your instrument simultaneously. Apart from coordination, a lot of other things are happening in the brain. Andrew E. Budson from Harvard University claims that because music can activate almost all regions of the brain, it can help to keep a myriad of brain pathways and networks strong, including those networks that are involved in well-being, learning, cognitive function, quality of life, and happiness. Sean McCollum from the Kennedy Center backs this up by listing the specific regions that are activated by music. Practically 9 regions. So all the prepping, all the practicing, all the energy put into music seems to be worth it. Reporting from WTGR, I'm Bria Reeves. Now back to our anchors.
Thank you, Bria.
Our Tigers football team has a football game at Stars Mill High School today. To better prepare for it, we are having a spirit night at Super Chicks in Peachtree City from 5 to 8 p.m. Come savor some delectable foods before heading to the stadium to cheer your Tigers on. A percentage of the proceeds will benefit our school.
Students, save the date for October 7th at Alfred Street 20th Annual HBCU's Virtual College Fair. This event will be online from 4 to 8 with opportunities to be accepted on the spot. Please check the Counseling Bulletin Board department outside of the Media Center for more information.
Soccer conditioning begins Tuesday, October 18th at 4:15 on the track. You must have a current physical prior to conditioning. You'll need running shoes, cleats, and a water bottle. If you have any questions, email Coach Presley in room 2102.
Well, that's all for today, Tigers. Hope you have a wonderful Friday.
See ya.